So we are now walking towards this area called Louis Khan Plaza, which is named after the architect who designed this place. And that is the place where the convocation happens. If you remember Two States, that movie where when, you know, Arjun comes with his mother and Alia comes with her parents and they are sitting in a convocation and they have a fight right at the convocation. This is the ground. That is where it happened. That's where the shooting also happened. And when we've come, like in 10 days from now, the actual convocation for this batch is also happening here.
Chetan, one of the other chapters that stands out as interesting for me is where you are giving tips on networking, right?
Yes.
How to connect with people.
Yes.
That's something, unfortunately, no one teaches on campus. You know, it really should be a course at IIM where we are telling people, because that's the one thing which is actually most useful to determining whether you succeed or not.
Yeah, forget IMA. Not everybody gets to come to IMA. Why not at schools? Agar aap ek average job bhi kar rahe ho, you must have an ability to connect with people, which doesn't mean they all have to be your friends.
Since no one on campuses like IIM teaches networking, what are your top practical tips to anyone watching on how to improve their network?
I think first of all, networking is not something I can just say ki these are the 5 rules. It all begins from having genuine interest in people. Like, if I want to network with you, it should not be, yaar, Rahul ke saath network karta hai. Ye wo PR wali game ho jati hai. I'm genuinely interested. Like, I know you keep fit. मेरा भी fitness में interest है. तो मैं आपसे पूछता हूँ, यार, how does a TV anchor who has to come on TV every night, how does he remain fit? मेरा ये genuine query है. मैंने आपसे पूछा, आपने मुझे share किया. Similarly, I can ask you.
Hi guys, why are you hiding in the corner? You don't need to hide in the corner.
And similarly, let's say you want to be curious about, like, how do writers think, how do they write books? So you ask me. So, you know, you have to show this genuine interest in people. आपको लोगों में रुचि दिखानी होगी. ये सोच के नहीं कि इससे मुझे क्या फायदा हो सकता है. That's opportunism. That is the so-called PR you're saying. You just have to be a people person.
Libraries always have a very soothing aura to them.
For a writer.
Arey, who's that? That's my professor from the time that I did a short course over here, Professor Nagar. How are you? It's lovely to see you.
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm very well.
Hi, sir, Chetan.
Nice to meet you.
So Professor Nagar teaches finance. I don't know whether he thinks I learned any finance or not, but he tried very hard to teach finance.
He was a very good student to have in the class.
Yeah?
Yes.
I can't believe I'm asking for it. ऐसे लग रहा है मैं अपने बच्चों की PTA मीटिंग में आया हूँ. अच्छा करता है, शरारती तो नहीं.
Oh, he was very sincere, very disciplined.
But he wants to breaking news आ गया मेरे को जाना है अभी.
No, actually the other participants in the program, they were more interested in having pics with him.
हाँ, so that distraction.
His focus was all on what is going on in the class.
हाँ, so what made you learn finance though? I mean, you do news.
Because my father always used to say a big problem with people in the army elsewhere, that they simply didn't spend enough time understanding finance and accountancy. So whether it was here at IIM Ahmedabad or Indian School of Business, later at Harvard Business School, I spent a lot of time actually investing in learning accountancy, finance, statistics, analytics, which is which helps
I do
during
not,
an election coverage.
Yes.
और कहीं काम आएगी.
And I don't want to make this about plugging my book again, but even though it's a book on life and on motivation, the last rule is earn, save and invest. You cannot become rich just by a job. You have to invest, I feel, and people who invest only become wealthy. Whether you invest in your own venture or whether you invest in the markets or some other asset class, real estate, whatever. And a lot of people don't know that.
So let's spend a moment, Chetan, talking about personal finance, investment, which you've dedicated an entire chapter to, and again, a skill which really, to my mind, should be taught from school onwards.
Of course. Money management is something, it's not only for experts, it's for every one of us. In fact, one of the less glamorous parts of my career, which never, people just think I just left banking and I was so brave and I wrote books. It's not like that. I was in banking. I saved like hell as much as I could because I knew I wanted to quit. I invested it properly. And
Where did you invest? What you're more of an equity guy, mutual fund guy, alternate investments?
I'm more equity.
You invest yourself?
I invest myself because itna to banking mein seekh ke I gaya, and my bosses and all used to invest a lot. So I've learned a lot from them. And I invest a lot in tech.
So what sectors are you hottest on right now?
Tech. Always has been tech focus. Or I'll just tell for other people, just buy index funds. Just buy index funds. There's a principle in finance called shut up and wait. Shut up and wait. That's all you need to do. It's like real estate, it's like anything. You have to wait 10, 20 years. But it's so hard for people to shut up and wait. They love to trade, they love to buy, sell, panic. And you have to do that. And I did that. And that is why I could quit my job to become a writer. that boring world of finance empowered me to do exciting things like taking career leaps, and I think that my book would have been incomplete, even though it's a book about life and motivation, without saying that you need to learn to invest. And I'm really happy you did a finance course too. By the way, this is probably one of the only libraries in the world which, because of me, is in a Bollywood movie song. So Alia Bhatt and...
यहाँ कोई dance वांस हुआ था ना?
Yeah, they did keep authentic to the place, and they all hide and they look at each other on these glances from the library, but it was actually the real library. They didn't make a set. It's quite a nice library actually.
You know, the other rule that stands out in your book, Chetan, is where you're talking about putting yourself first. So explain what that means. And there's a lot of, there's an element of selfishness in a lot of your rules for life.
And you know, there has to be. No advice, no life advice, no self-help advice, no motivation advice is going to work if we don't prioritize ourselves. And Indians in particular, we are very community conscious people. Samaj mein, society mein, we all want to be good in relation to someone. We want to be a good father, good son, good spouse, good colleague, good this. And in that we spend a lot of energy in trying to make other people happy and judge us and say, wow, you are good. But what about us? You know, what about things we really want to do? And if you don't prioritize yourself, none of this advice is going to work. So I am giving people permission to say, you come first. पहले तुम अपना देखो, फिर औरों की help कर सकते हो. किसी को, if you are not happy, you cannot make other people happy. That's a misnomer. You think you'll be miserable and you'll sacrifice your life to make other people happy. That's never going to happen. But a lot of people live exactly like that.
Your next rule is about mastering simple English. तो आपको लगता है कि अगर English नहीं आती तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता life में?
बहुत मुश्किल है. कुछ ना कुछ
ऐसा है नहीं. आजकल तो Indian languages पे भी बहुत फोकस है कि हिंदी सीखो, संस्कृत सीखो.
वो है, और उसमें थोड़ा पॉलिटिक्स है, थोड़ा उसमें हमारी लैंग्वेज प्रिजर्वेशन है, वो सेपरेट इशू है. लेकिन ये बात मेरे को एक आई डिड अ पॉडकास्ट विद वन somebody who's an IAS in हिंदी मीडियम में. ही क्लियर्ड IAS and he's a very senior, and he said, चेतन आप समझ नहीं सकते, वो मेरठ से हैं, and he said कि अगर आपको अंग्रेजी नहीं आती ना, कई दरवाजे बंद होते हैं आपके लिए जो आप सोच भी नहीं सकते हैं. जैसे मल्टीनेशनल बैंक्स, ऑल द पीपल वी इंटरव्यूड इन द कैंटीन एंड दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द कंपनीज दे आर इन, दे विल नॉट टेक यू इफ यू डोंट स्पीक इंग्लिश. इंग्लिश इज समथिंग जिसके बिना an average Indian will find it very difficult. It's of course possible. Of course it's possible without.
क्यों मोदी जी तो PM बन गए?
तो मोदी जी is a very good example.
कौन सी अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं?
But on an average,
योगी आदित्यनाथ बने हुए हैं CM UP.
Even if you are a cricketer, if you are a movie star, yeah, you don't need it. But for most people who are professionals, it's difficult. मैं खुद अगर मैं चेतन भगत हिंदी का लेखक होता, I don't think I would have had the profile I have today. You don't need to have very high-fi English. शशि थरूर English नहीं चाहिए, चेतन भगत English चाहिए, बस. वो काफी है.
इसमें भी अपनी मार्केटिंग कर ली.
अरे मार्केटिंग क्या, तो अपने आप को नीचे कर रहा हूँ.